remember that the Rattlers will strike and strike and strike again.
HBCUs were for a century the only option for African American students to obtain a college education until the 1950s, when colleges were desegregated. There are many HBCUs, and you'll find that they are mainly concentrated in the southern part of the United States, because a high majority of higher education institutions were predominantly white and either totally disqualified or limited African American enrollment. HBCUs were needed to give opportunities to African Americans, especially in the South. So I'm going to flash a couple pictures on the screen. Just close your eyes and take in this HBCU experience. No, I'm totally kidding. Keep your eyes open, because you want to be fully immersed in what I'm going to say. So imagine this. HBCUs are not just colleges and universities. The HBCU experience is full, it's diverse and ever educating. You have people from the United States, from Africa, from the UK, the islands, you name it. People come from all over for this experience. And among the food, the music, the customs, traditions, values, norms, and ideas that are learned from just the diversity of the people, you learn that being Black was more than just a color pigmentation. You learn history, stories that were not told in grade school. You get to experience living art, athletics, music, science, and innovation. You see, being at an HBCU is where many students find themselves. They grow, they develop networks, and they create. Then, once they have this foundation, they go off and become phenomenal contributors, giving much, not to just their hometowns, but to the global community. And HBCUs are also the home to the Divine Nine, which is a collection of Black fraternities and sororities that are created to foster communal bonds and increase professional opportunities after collegiate careers and give back to their local communities. So you have the Alphas, the AKAs, the Omegas, the Deltas, Sigmas, Zetas, SG Rho, and Iotas, and they are all families at these schools. You'll find them on the yard, really making that HBCU experience come to life. You see, the HBCU experience is unbelievable. It's satisfying, it's unique, it's persistence, it's power, it's perseverance. It's where Black boy joy and Black girl magic and Black excellence is born. See, while HBCUs were originally founded to primarily educate African American students, they have now become institutions of higher learning that attract a diverse student population, especially since many HBCUs infamously specialize in specific areas of study, like engineering, business, architecture, you name it. So beginning with Cheyney University of Pennsylvania, which was founded in 1837, HBCUs have played a central role in the shaping of Black life and identity, which they have created a Black middle class and dismantled segregation. And today we continue to be an engine for Black economic progress and incubators of the ongoing movement for justice. So look around. HBCU alumni can be found everywhere changing the world. They're reverends and judges, politicians and actors, directors and attorney generals. And even this lady down here in the corner, her name is Nubia Murray, and she went to Howard University, just like me. And now she is Director of Global Communications and Campaigns at McDonald's. Now that's major.
Good morning, greetings. My name is Denise Baker, HBCU for Life, Program Chairman. I would also like to say good morning to our lovely President, Mrs. Minretta McFadden, and Vice Presidents, Ms. Tanya Jackson and Ms. Sharon McDuffie. This morning's Historically Black College and Universities HBCU panel discussion presentation will enlighten our audience members regarding HBCUs as institutions of excellence with historical and current significance. HBCUs have and continue to build invaluable legacies, booming with pride. They also continue to fill a very important role in providing access to quality higher education for African Americans and individuals who attend them. During this morning's program, we will also hear the firsthand experience of our 4 guest panelists who have an authentic understanding of the impact of attending or being part of an HBCU environment. Before the program concludes, our lovely president, Mrs. Minretta McFadden, will conclude with remarks. And I thank you for your attention. And at this time, it is with great pleasure that I welcome Ms. Sharon L. Hobson, who will now introduce our moderator for this morning's program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Baker, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing the moderator for today's HBCU panel discussion. This is a person who is very near and dear to my heart. It's my girlfriend, Ms. Peyton Hawkins. Ms. Hawkins is a Spelman College graduate of the class of 2019 and holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in economics. Ms. Hawkins is currently employed with Microsoft as a product marketing manager. She is the proud daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joe Hawkins. Ms. Hawkins is a native of Voorhees, New Jersey. Ms. Hawkins is currently a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Theta Pi Mega Chapter. Now, this is no stranger to her. She has been a part of Theta Pi Mega since her birth. At a young age, she participated as an author in our sorority's Young Authors program. Ms. Hawkins wrote a story called Squirrel Attack about a squirrel in the attic of her home. The story won top honors locally, within the North Atlantic region, and internationally. We realized after the program that Ms. Peyton Hawkins was going to be exceptional. Ms. Hawkins is also participated in our biannual debutante cotillion as an angel, junior debutante, and was crowned Miss Fantasy 2019. I am proud to say that I was Ms. Hawkins' sponsor. In 2018, Ms. Hawkins was the first Spelman woman to be accepted into the ACE, which is the Accelerated Connections and Experiences Rotation Program, a 24-month marketing rotation program for early in-career hires in marketing and consumer business at Microsoft. When Ms. Hawkins isn't working, you can catch her doing a few of her loves, like cooking, working her way through every recipe in her family's cookbook, and indulging her love for seeing new places. You need to share your family cookbook, because you know I love to cook too, Ms. Hawkins. Ms. Hawkins is one of our shining superstars. She is truly amazing. Without further ado, let me introduce to some and to present to others my dear girlfriend and sorority sister, Ms. Peyton Hawkins. Peyton, take it away.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you all so much. I'm super, super excited to get to moderate today's session. Sharon gave me a lovely introduction, but a little bit more about me. I would have never gone to an HBCU if it weren't for my mother, Rita Hawkins. She made me apply to at least one historically Black college, and I'm so thankful that she did her pushy mom stuff, because I wouldn't be in the predicament that I am in today. I'm super, super thankful. And I'm definitely really excited to not only get to moderate, but to hear from our lovely panelists as we get to hear their experiences and perspectives going to a historically Black college, what that's like, and how to prepare for it as a high schooler, excuse me. So let's just get started by introducing our lovely panelists. First, we have the lovely Miss Corinne Beavers. I'm so, so excited to introduce her. I can't believe she's in college now. I remember when she was a little girl. Corinne, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name's Corinne Beavers. I am from Burlington Township, New Jersey. At Howard, I major in psychology, and my anticipated graduation date is in May of 2024. And after graduation, I hope to receive my master's and hopefully later become a therapist for children and adolescents, specifically of like color and low income communities.
Let's give a good reaction for Corinne in her introduction. A little virtual applause. And so next we have Miles Cook.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Miles Cook. I'm from Willingboro, New Jersey. I major in radio, television, and film. My anticipated graduation date is December of 2022 or May of 2023. My plans after graduation is to work on a TV station or just to work on a movie set.
Thank you so much for sharing, Miles. We have a future Kenya Barish in the making, so super excited to see what's to come. Next, we have Miss Leah Lockman.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Leah Lockman. I'm from Philadelphia, and I go to the first degree granting HBCU, Lincoln University. I'm majoring in accounting, and I anticipate graduating in May of 2022. After college, I plan on obtaining my master's degree and also working for an accounting firm, PricewaterhouseCoopers in Philadelphia.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Leah. And last but certainly not least, we have Mr. Charles Pierce III.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Charles Pierce. I'm from Willingboro/Sicklerville, New Jersey. My major is business finance and international banking, and my anticipated graduation date is the fall of 2024. After graduation, I hope to go to school to receive my master's to later become a therapist for children and adolescents. And also, I want to start my own financial advisory company.
That's wonderful. Let's give another virtual applause for the lovely panelists. And I think now we actually can start beginning our first Q&A session. So let's just start off easy. I'm going to kind of do, I think a round robin for the first question, because I would love to get to hear all of your answers. And so we'll start with Corinne first. Why did you choose a historically Black college over a predominantly white institution, also known as a PWI?
I was just hearing so many bad things about how Black students were being treated at PWIs, especially after the 2016 election and just the turmoil that was happening. And I realized that I didn't want that to be my experience. And I just felt like at an HBCU, I would have a better experience, feel more accepted, and just overall have a better experience than if I had chosen a PWI.
Got it. No, completely understand. Miles, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so I attended a Catholic high school, and I definitely felt like there were some things that I missed out on in the Black education experience that I kind of wanted to get back. So once I learned about HBCUs, I thought this was a great opportunity to go ahead and apply and hopefully get somewhere.
Absolutely. Leah?
So going to a predominantly white school, I felt like I needed a shift in my change in colleges also. So that's why I chose Lincoln, and also because of just vlogs on YouTube and just looking at different schools and how students experience their schools and stuff is another reason why.
And Charles, can I get your answer too? I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. So in high school, I went to a pretty balanced culturally school, but I wanted to explore more of my culture and be more around people more like me. So I went on a lot of college visits with the NAACP, and I came back to this one, and then they also were allowing me to play football there. So it just seemed like the best fit for me.
Got it. One question, one thing that kind of came top of mind during your all of your answers was that some of you went to predominantly white schools. Charles went to a diverse high school. So I guess one of the questions is, how does it feel now to kind of be in a predominantly Black space, just because that experience is so rare? What does it feel like? Is it different from your high school experience? Definitely. For me, at least, it was a huge shift going from Voorhees, New Jersey to Atlanta, Georgia. So love to hear from you all about being in a Black space. Your teachers are Black. Everybody you see is Black. What does that feel like? And you guys can, whoever wants to answer first, feel free.
It was definitely a big change for me because in high school I didn't have any Black teachers. So going to Central in like one of the first classes I had, my first semester, I had a Black teacher. It's kind of eye-opening. There's a sense of acceptance and understanding when it comes to, talking to them about certain problems that you may have in the class, and they understand. So definitely an eye-opening experience.
Got it, got it, got it. Another question that I'm super curious to know from all of you guys, just because we've got a lot of high schoolers on the call. I guess, like, what's the difference between high school teachers versus college professors? Like, some high schools, your teachers care, they're more involved, but when you're going to a big college, you might just kind of be like a number. What was it like going to your particular HBCU? Some schools are smaller, so you really have a close relationship with your professors. Love to hear from, Corinne or Leah or Charles.
I could definitely answer that one. So as far as the teachers, the differences, with high school, it's more like, it seems like it's more personal because she knows you and she knows your name and she can pick you out of a crowd. But in college, it's really on you as the student to get to know your teacher and make yourself stand out from everybody else, just in case you do need that help or that assistance. She knows who you are, what class period you're in, and what you would need help on. And just the adjustment to college in general, I would say, it's going to be different no matter where you go, even if you go into an in-state school. Just living on your own and becoming a college student is an adjustment in itself. So I would say just start to get ready to learn how to do things on your own more and stick up for yourself and put yourself out there so you can gain more in the back end.
Leah, were you going to say something too?
Yes, I was. A big difference I've seen in my teachers from high school and my professors in college is that the teachers in high school, they were kind of like a little more stricter, but kind of having to prepare me to be on track for college, because in college, you're on your own, basically. You have to fall back on yourself. You have to set up your own time management and you have to be responsible for yourself. So that's a big difference I've seen between my professors and my teacher. I'm sorry.
Got it. And let's talk about that a little bit. Like you and Charles both spoke on kind of making your own schedules. College is very much you're independent. So something I'd love to hear from Corinne actually would be, how did you like take ownership and, in high school, you're kind of on a schedule, but like how in college do you take back ownership and time management? Like, is it hard transitioning from, high school where your parents and your teachers and your friends are very much involved versus college where you kind of have to make your own decisions and you're becoming an adult?
Yeah, it's definitely different, but like in college, you still have like that support. Like I didn't feel like I was overwhelmed or like I was like going crazy, because there was still like I could ask people, I could email people. Like Charles said earlier, like you have to like go out of your way to kind of do it yourself. But once you do, like there's always people around to help you, to ask questions, and they want to make you succeed. So if you ask questions, they're going to help you and answer. And you just have to hold yourself accountable as well.
Got it. And another question. So let's say I'm in school and like, I don't know what major I want to do. Like, did you guys all know the major you wanted to pursue before you came into college, or was that a decision you made while you were in school? How does someone in high school figure out what they want to study in, and does that determine the rest of their future?
So when I started at Lincoln, I actually wanted to be a nurse and I was in a pre-nursing program. While I was taking the classes and stuff, I kind of realized that nursing probably wasn't for me. And I had to start talking to my advisor, who was similar to a guidance counselor in college. And I basically just started talking to her and trying to find out what major was right for me. And that's when I came to accounting, because I was very good at numbers and she saw that I was very interested in learning about taxes and the IRS. So just having a mindset of what you think you want to do, it might not be what you want to do in the future, but just preparing yourself to know what you think you may want to do is just a good idea for you to have.
No, yeah, I 100% agree with Leah. When I came into Spelman, I was an economics major, and now I kind of do marketing. And so very complete, like kind of similar, but different. Like you don't have to know the major that you want to be when you come to, school. And you don't even have to know, you can be undecided as a freshman. But what's really important is like focusing on what you want to do. It's really good that Leah made that internal decision to say, hey, nursing might not be a path that I want to pursue, because sometimes it can be too late. And so it's great that she had a support system where she could ask people how to kind of have that pivot. And I think that's super important, especially whether you're in high school or college. It's just great to kind of know yourself and know what are things that you do want to pursue, and is this something that's being pushed upon me. Just want to, if the audience has any questions, feel free to also put it in the chat. I'll make sure to be monitoring it. But one more question that I wanted to have before we kind of go to the audience questions in the chat is, what type of classes do you guys take at a HBCU? Like, are they going to be, do you kind of have to take like Black history classes? Because I know when I went to a predominantly white high school, we didn't really learn much about Black history, if that at all. And so I wonder, what was your experience like? Are there any major classes that freshmen have to take, like African diaspora or anything that has to do with the Black identity?
So, I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, so at Lincoln, there are 2 courses that freshmen have to take. The 2 courses are first year experience, where you basically learn about the history of Lincoln, and you explore the campus. You actually have to walk around, do projects, and basically just, your reason why you're going to begin your Lincoln legacy at Lincoln. And then also the second course that we take is African American experience, which is another course, and that's when we learn about all African American history, ranging from slavery all the way to current times.
Corinne, you had something to quickly add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say at Howard, everybody has to take like one Afro cluster class. So whether that be Intro to African Diaspora or Intro to Afro Studies, like we all have to take a class, and you can do that at any time, but it's mandatory that you take one.
Got it. So we actually have a question from the audience. What is it like living in a dorm or campus? And I'm going to put 2 parts to it. For those of you who got to have like the college experience being on campus, share about that. But then also, can someone else answer, what is it like going to school now that it's kind of virtual during the COVID-19 pandemic? What has that been like? So Miles, could you take the first part of like what was like living on campus? And then Charles, would you mind taking the second part?
Yeah, so my first experience, so I know a lot of freshmen, they get put into like the more simpler dorms, traditional dorms. I actually was able to get myself in a more spacious area where I had a common area, place to sit down. So but just definitely getting used to having roommates that you don't know from different parts of the country. Sometimes it can be awkward, but if you get a chance to know your roommate, it can actually spark to a nice friendship. And basically, sometimes sharing a bathroom in the shower in the hallway can be a little difficult sometimes, but you learn to adapt over time.
And as far as with the whole COVID-19 situation and things like that, adjusting into college has kind of been a different experience for me, because obviously there's less social events, and there's people still living on campus, and there's still people around, but there's not really that many people walking around. So it kind of seems like morale in general is just low right now because of COVID. But I'm definitely sure in the fall or in the coming semesters that things should start to pick up a little bit. But yeah, so we're doing virtual school, but they're still allowing kids to live on campus. And I personally had to live on campus because obviously we have practice every day. So I would have to be there for that. But the regular students also are allowed to live on campus and participate in the activities that they do have at Delaware State. Because although COVID is around, they still do have some social distancing events to try and keep the students together and try to give them a little taste of the experience that we could be getting if COVID wasn't here. So yeah, that's how my experience been.
Got it. So Charles briefly kind of spoke about some of the things that he likes to do at school, like involving sports. Corinne, what are some fun things, I guess, you get to do in college that you'd like to share?
Well, I've never personally experienced being on campus because I was online this whole year, but there are definitely different clubs and activities you can do, and definitely like your student council, like for us, even though like we were online, like our student council for our class definitely made sure to like go out of their way and like host events so like we could all participate even through a virtual setting. So.
And Leah too. So I'd love to hear about your experience, I guess, being on campus and some of the favorite things that you get to do. And then also I love Corinne, she's a freshman, and so her entire experience was virtual. And so love to hear how you, as a rising senior, what were the fun things that you got to do being a virtual student?
So being a virtual student, it was quite different than being on campus. We really couldn't, be in person and mingle a lot. So we had to be creative and start having programs and events online via Zoom. So a few events that we had were like a DJ battle. So that was something that we had hosted during our virtual homecoming. A few other things I guess we could say that we did were just mainly certain organizations were just trying to find creative ways to still have the student body involved and also to still enjoy to still enjoy their student life.
Got it. Oh no, that's great. I think one last question that I would love to hear from all four of you is, when you're going to a HBCU, obviously everybody is Black. And so people love to say, why would you go to a historically Black college when everyone's Black? Isn't everybody the same? And so given the importance of diversity in today's world, how do you experience diversity at a historically Black college?
I would say, as far as diversity goes, just because you're Black doesn't mean everybody's the same person. That just means you have the same nationality or ethnicity. There's people who are Black that can come from Jamaica and have a totally different culture than people who are Black that come from somewhere as close as Barbados. And they're both Caribbean islands and they might have similar things, but there's different things in that culture that they do that are different from each other. And it's the same thing at a HBCU. You have people from all the way over here from California that can bring their culture to you from New Jersey, which you've never seen California or even been to the West Coast, but they can bring that feel of the West Coast to you and that comfort of the West Coast to you. So I feel like diversity is easy to find when there's so many different people that are alike in ways, but have different qualities and come from different cultures and backgrounds that can bring different things into the pot that make it all great. That's what.
Charles, did you want to, I'm sorry, not Charles, Miles, did you want to add something? I want to hear from all four of you.
I would say that just picking up on what Charles says, just find a common interest in the people around you. I know in my school in North Carolina, I know there was a couple people that were from Jersey, and we all kind of migrate together. We all kind of hang out together, and that's what you do. You find common interest in people, and they all just kind of migrate to each other.
Corinne and Leah, could we hear from you guys on how you would answer that question, and then we can go to the questions in the chat.
Yeah, I think it's just like Miles and Charles were saying, like there's people from all over. So you do get that diversity because no one's like ever from really the same place. And there's just so many different personalities and different ways of life. So there's definitely a lot of diversity and like more diversity than people would think because people are from all over. So you're never getting anything that's the same from people.
Yeah, it's just like everybody was saying, it's very diverse. You never know if you'll even see your twin on campus. Like you might have a twin that's just on the same campus as you, but they might just be from Atlanta and you might be from Jersey. So You never know. It's just very diverse.
Great, thank you guys so much. And so I saw a question in the chat from Kimberly. She would like to know if you guys have ever experienced separation anxiety, and if so, how did you handle it? I know for me, I from New Jersey, and then I went to school in Atlanta. Obviously, you have to take a plane, or like it's a pretty long drive. One thing I was very lucky to have was my pop-up lived in Atlanta, Georgia. My grandma, she was also in Birmingham, Alabama. So I still had family in the area, and that was really nice, especially if you needed a break from school. And when separation anxiety, if you mean from like you're afraid to leave from your parents, just know that like at the end of the day, when you're coming to this school, everybody's new. No one has friends, like no one knows each other. So like people are feeling the same exact way. And I think that kind of gives you an opportunity to really connect with someone. And so even though they might not be your blood family, they easily can become your family at the end of your matriculation. Like I have sisters from Spelman and brothers from Morehouse, and I'm super thankful for that experience. But sometimes when you want to take a break, just visit family that's like closer by, maybe not your immediate family, but definitely finding ways to connect with others is really great to kind of ease your separation anxiety. Panelists, did you guys have any things that you wanted to add to that, if you've ever experienced that when leaving for college?
I would say I didn't really experience separation anxiety per se. I didn't really have a problem being away from the house, but after like your first 3 weeks or 4 weeks away from the house, you start to feel like whoa, I can't just go into mom's room or dad's room and say, hey, what's up? Or I can't call my brother and see if he's trying to go to the park or something. Like I'm in a totally different area, and I've got to make my own friends, and I got to find my own way. But yeah, as far as just being like sad and not being able to be away from home, I didn't really experience that personally, but I know people do, and I know people who have experienced that, and they tell me that it's not a great feeling because you feel like you don't have anybody there, and you want to socialize, but you don't. Something's missing, and it's just you need your family around. So yeah, I would say for that, just try to find a good group of friends, or try to find some people that you can be around daily, that can lift your spirits, and hopefully you can get over it, and it can get better for you.
Great answer, Charles. Another question, how do you guys balance your sleep, school, work, extracurricular activities, social life? Like, how does that even work, especially for somebody who's about to start school next year?
I would say that if you already can see your schedule or you can register for your classes, try to see if you're a morning person or an afternoon person. 8 a.m. is not the same in high school like it is in college. So I would say keep that in mind. Also, just having your schedule written on a calendar, written in your phone, written on your laptop somewhere so that you can stay on task and you could be on time to all your classes.
No, that's great. That's retweet. If you are not a morning person, please don't take a 7 a.m. morning class and you miss it, because they're not going to call your parents. You're going to have to go back home. You're going to have to tell them that you didn't pass that class, and they're going to be mad. So don't do it. Just do an evening class. It's not that deep. Just do an evening class. Another question, what do you plan to do with like your summers? Let's talk about, because that's a huge one, summer internships. What's working? What is that like? Do you have to have a summer internship? I know my experience at Spelman, I felt like I was a fish out of the water. I had no idea what they were, and everyone had them for some reason, and I didn't. But please explain to those who don't know what a summer internship is, why that's important, and how that can help you. Miles, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, sorry, my connection was going in and out. I couldn't really hear the full question.
Oh, yeah. So I said, can you explain summer internships, why they're important, and how can they benefit somebody, especially a college student? Miles, we're gonna, 1 second, I'm gonna direct the question to Corinne because we can't hear you right now. So Corinne, could you explain a little bit about summer internships, the importance of them?
Yeah. So especially if if you know what you want to do in your field, and even if you don't, a summer internship is just really important to kind of get out there and like see what you like, kind of see what you don't like, make connections, and just to like kind of set yourself up professionally for like later in your life after college. And just so you at least have like people out there who after college you can like contact and be like, hey, I'm looking for a job. So that's why they're really important.
And also, y'all know that summer internships aren't the only time that you guys can like work for a company. One of the things that I got to do was I was a campus ambassador for Coca-Cola, and that was during the entire school year. And so basically, you can get paid, you make your own schedule, and also it helps you build your resume. The huge, like the one big thing HBCUs do best is career development. And so the whole purpose of you guys going to school is to get that job. And so companies all across the country and the world will come to HBCUs looking for people like you. And you got to make sure that you have a resume that can showcase that. And for those who are coming in as freshmen, there are programs specifically for freshmen who don't have like internship experience so that they can gain it. And so that really is a great opportunity for you all to build your resume, make connections, and also even get a job offer at the end of your matriculation. And that's the main important thing, making sure you have a job so you can, you know, pay off the student loans if you have any student loans, or no student loans if you're blessed, and continue to like just be great. And so I think we're coming out of time, so I'm going to take the last question, and it would be, how did you select your particular HBCU? Are there any pros and cons? Charles, did you want to take that one?
Yeah. So again, with the sports and athletics was obviously a factor in me choosing my university, but also touring the campus and seeing what they had to offer. Like you said, internship wise, I wanted to know if they had a strong foundation for getting students into internships, and it turns out Delaware State does. And fortunately, I was able to get an internship this summer with a company for wealth management through Delaware State, which was a blessing. And just overall, I would say in order to pick your college, I would look for the things that are most important to you, school academically wise, and then also you want to look at dorm life and the social aspect of the college and how well they have their students come on campus and the activities they put on for them, and just things like that. See if you could see yourself there for more than the 4 years you're going to be there, because you may want to pursue a longer degree. And why leave a university if you love it there, you know? So I would say just make sure that it's the right fit by looking at the social aspects, the living aspects, and just overall if it's a good fit for you.
Great one, Charles. I see one more question. This could either go for Leah or Corinne or whomever wants to answer, but did any of the panelists participate in EOF, which is Educational Opportunity Fund? It's the program, and so if so, what was your experience like? I don't think anyone participated in the program, but what I do know is participate in the EOF opportunity. I'm assuming, and what I think, one thing I will say, even though I didn't get to participate in the Educational Opportunity Program, I'm assuming that it has something to do with like potentially career development. If not, let me know in the chat, but basically one of the things that HBCUs do, if it is about career development, is I think every campus at historically Black colleges and universities have an educational development department. Make sure, one of the key things that I would love to say is like, make sure you get to know the people that work in that building. Make sure you get to know the people that work in your major building. Like, you need to make connections. And at HBCUs, like, you don't become successful by yelling at someone or screaming at someone and saying, you know, you need to fix my grades. Like, kill them with kindness. Because one thing I will say about going to an HBCU, sometimes when you need to get something done, you are the only person who can get it done. You can't depend on other people. And so making sure that you're building connections with just like your great personality and making sure that like people genuinely like your character, you'll get more stuff done when you're nice to them and killing them with kindness versus being hurtful or yelling back at them, even if they're giving you negative energy. Because there's definitely been times where I've been in registrar and someone has a bad day and they're cursing me out, and I just tell them like, I'm so sorry. They apologize to me, and then I'm able to get my grades fixed. So making sure to like know how to balance your just like, you know, making sure you know how to deal with different personalities, because that's what you're going to get at any college, whether you go to a HBCU or a predominantly white institution. But that's super important. One thing I wanted to highlight and share. I know that we're slightly getting out of time. So I do see the questions in the chat, and I'm going to make sure that I answer all of them. But we actually have a video that we would like to share, and then we'll go into our second Q&A session. That was awesome. As you guys could tell, they're just highlighting a few of some of the amazing people that have gone to historically Black colleges or universities. One of the things that I definitely want to share is that not only do these amazing people have they attended these colleges, but they actually still come back. Like one of the things that I absolutely loved about being in the Atlanta University Center is whenever there was an event, Spike Lee would come, and one of the times that he ended up coming, he was speaking to somebody, and a Morehouse student had ran up to the mic and said, Spike, like, I have a script that I really want to pitch to you. Can I please talk to you? Everyone was booing him, and Spike Lee said, meet me in the back and I'll read the script. And so one of the things about HBCUs is you will build your connection and you will build like basically your career going to these schools, and the alumni really make sure that they're giving back not only financially but their presence as well, just because they know how important it is to make sure that their existence is at the campus. And it was just really nice getting to see that moment and knowing that Spike Lee was probably had a moment where he was running up to a famous director during his matriculation through Morehouse, asking for the same thing, and they just love to give back. So next we'll kind of get into the questions. I did see somebody in the chat said that the EOF is actually a state-sponsored program available to students who will have the will and desire to go to college but need additional academic and financial support. One of the things that I can talk about in regards to the EOF, there's a lot of scholarships, especially for HBCUs. And one of the big scholarships I know that happened with like Spelman, Morehouse, and I think Howard was the Netflix scholarship that happened where Netflix donated, I think, about $100 million to the 3 HBCUs as well as all HBCUs across the country. And there's a lot of different opportunities to get funding, especially for these colleges, because in reality, they can be expensive. And so one of the things that I definitely looked on was we had like a career fair website where high school students could actually see the scholarships that they could apply to. And that's something that I would definitely check with your career development center at high school, just because there might be scholarship dates that you might miss. So one thing I do know is you need to apply beforehand so that you can get actual money from the college. And so making sure that you know and you're aware of like the dates and the timelines is super important. And that's also why you should just get connected with your career development center in your high school as well as your college. But for all the other panelists, have you guys participate or have you guys been, awarded scholarships for school? If so, what was that like? And can you share that experience?
Yeah, I was awarded like several scholarships before I went, just with different groups. Like I also did the cotillion, so I got scholarship money from that. And then just through like different church events and church scholarships and just other outside scholarships, and I got those for college. And yeah, you just got to apply and stay on top of it and just look, because there's scholarships for everything out there. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, Leah, I actually have a question for you. You mentioned switching majors. And so can you kind of talk more about what that was like and was it difficult? I know there's a couple of people in the chat that are interested to know what that experience pertained.
So I changed my major during my second semester of my freshman year. I kind of didn't like how I took my anatomy course and I didn't do too well in that course. So I kind of thought that I needed to stop and really think and to figure out what I wanted to do for the next 3 years of college. So that's when I started just reaching out, talking to my advisors, professors, just talking to some students, my mentor as well, who was actually an accounting major. She actually was just trying to ask me just certain questions about what I liked and what I didn't like and stuff. So then that's when I transitioned and that's when I chose accounting. Accounting has been such a great major for me and has definitely made me, I'm sorry, I just forgot what I was going to say. Basically, it just helped me become way more of a better student than I was when I was in a nursing program.
Oh, thank you. That was great. Kind of talking like about college and applying to colleges. How did you guys prepare yourself when you were kind of going through that admissions process? It seems incredibly stressful. What advice would you give to your past self about applying to colleges? And what advice could you share right now?
So my experience for applying for schools actually wasn't normal. When I applied to Central, the time I had to take my first class was in the span of like 5 days. So I kind of didn't get that time to really think about all the stuff that Central had. But the advice that I'd give my past self would just to take my time and really do my research in some of the schools that I'm interested in. Just getting like a list of maybe the top 10, top 5 schools that I like, getting to know much about them on YouTube or, visiting them, and then shortening that list and then start applying to the schools that I'm really interested in.
Absolutely, no, definitely. And some advice I would give myself is like, don't compare your path to someone else's. Everyone's college journey is different, and college also might not be for you. Like some people like to, start with like going into a job. But the main thing is to find out what you love, what's best for you, and not comparing anyone's journey to your own. It can be very intimidating when you see people going to illustrious schools like the ones we have on the panel. So making sure that, you're applying to the colleges that your dream goals, your reach schools as they call them, the schools that you'll get in, and the schools that are like, middle ground. And it can be incredibly overwhelming. And so just taking your time, like Miles said, and giving yourself grace is super important, especially during that stressful time of applying to a bunch of different schools. And so we have one question in the chat about throughout your college career, you will see students who started with you, but may not graduate with you. What is motivating you to do well and graduate from your HBCU? Corinne and Charles, do you mind taking this one?
Yeah, I would say my motivation overall would be just to graduate with my degree and be put in a better position to get a job that I want in the workforce later on in life. Um, and as far as just what keeps me going every day, and what makes me want to do better grade wise is I know that it's a competitive job market, especially now with COVID-19. So I need everything I can get to set me apart from my competition, which would be other students that I'm in college with and students across the globe. You got people in Asia doing the same thing that I'm doing. It may not necessarily be in the same way, but they're competing the same way. So I need something that sets me apart, which I would say is if you get good grades while you're in college, along with passing your courses and doing what you need to do, that can set you apart because a job is going to look at a kid who has a 3.7 GPA and a kid that has a 3.2, and they say, okay, well, they're both smart and they both get their work done, but this kid seems like he has his head on a little bit better than this kid. At least that's what the grades are telling me, and that's not the end all be all, but based off of what I have, the information I'm presented with right here, this is who I'm going to go with. So I want to be in that position where I can say, hey, I have a 3.7, 4.0 GPA. I feel like I should get the job because I know what I'm doing and I clearly know how to get my work done. So yeah, I would just say just my motivation is just putting myself in the best position possible to be successful when I'm done.
No, that's a great point. Definitely, especially like motivating to make you graduate. Like also, in addition to Charles's answer, internships are another way that can set you apart, especially if you've done, like they have a lot of programs now specifically for historically Black college university students. And so making sure you take all of the opportunity and use it to your advantage is great. And it also can help motivate you to persevere because it can be challenging. Whether you go to a regular college, a HBCU, you're going to be challenged regardless. It's all in the same. And so making sure you just have people that you surround yourself with that are motivating you and your family's motivating you, that's really all that matters. Corinne, did you want to take add anything to it, to the question?
Yeah, personally for me, since I want to be a therapist, like something that motivates me is just the lack of Black therapists out there. So it's just like knowing that if I get my degree, if I graduate, if I keep going, like it'll eventually help other children and teens in the long run because of what I want to do.
No, that's absolutely great. It's one thing I'll say is like going to HBCU can feel like a dream come true, but we all know that that's not the reality and majority of the world, that we are very much in the minority, and that's okay. But it's great to see people like Corinne wanting to get into the medical field, because there's really a huge lack of representation, especially for Black women that are in the therapy world, and especially just for doctors in general. And HBCUs produce the most Black doctors there are nationally, and it's incredibly important that we have people that look like us, just so that they, at the end of the day, like there's a lot of doctors that have implicit biases that might not be treating us the correct way because they don't know our background, or they don't know where we're coming from, or they might think that we're lying about how we're feeling. And that's just the way of the world. And so it's nice to see representation, not just within movies and TV or media, but all throughout the entire country. And so another quick question that we have: how are advisors and mentors assigned to students? I know mentorship is something that's talked about all the time in high school as well in college, but can you guys share your experience with a mentor, and also talk about how not every person is supposed to be your mentor? And so how do you kind of decide the people that you take your advice, and then you take some people's advice with a grain of salt?
So at my school, advisors are assigned by first, when you register for first year experience, the professor that you have for first year experience just happens to be your advisor. And then that's when you have to apply for your major. And then that's when you're given a major advisor through your department. Through mentors, when I started freshman year, well, prior to me starting freshman year during the summer, just being on social media, Twitter, Instagram, just finding certain pages like Lincoln 22 had a page, and having the upperclassmen reach out to us and just saying welcome to us as we were committing to school kind of helped into everybody finding a mentor and somebody they could trust and to help them guide them through the first year. That's a way that we kind of feel mentors. However, there are organizations like Big Sister, Little Sister, or similar organizations that also have just that can actually help you finding a mentor, what in case you can't find one yourself.
Got it. Thank you so much, Leah, for that great answer. And I guess we can kind of love to hear from everybody actually for this question. Are there any mistakes and lessons that you have learned since being in college? And I guess you guys could just, I guess we could start with Charles and then go Charles, Corinne, Miles, and then end with Leah. And can you just give one mistake and one lesson that you learned while, being in college?
One mistake that I experienced would be just, I think I saw this question earlier too, is just the adjustment of like sleep and waking up on time. And I know people said that if you're not a morning person, don't pick morning classes, which is correct. But for me personally, with athletics, we have to be up early in the morning. So I missed like a practice or two during my first semester, and I got rained down on for it, but it was definitely a lesson to me. Like, hey, you want to do this, you need to get your stuff together, and you need to commit to this, and make an effort to better your sleep schedule and wake up on time for your priorities. So I would definitely say a lesson I learned is definitely do everything you can to put yourself in the best position to be on time, because if you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, don't come. So yeah, I would just say make sure you adjust well to changing your sleep schedule and just adjusting to college in general like that. That's one mistake I made.
Thank you, Charles. Corinne.
One mistake I made, I think early on, was like not having like a set schedule. And I think like having a set schedule for like what you're going to do throughout the day is like super important to fit everything in between like your activities, clubs, social life. And I think one thing I learned is, you kind of touched on this earlier, but like everyone's going to go at their own pace. Everyone's like on their own path. And you can't compare what you're doing to somebody else, because everyone's going to do something different and be on a different path than everyone else.
For me, it's definitely having that discipline, and something that I've heard my whole life is to do what you don't want to do now, so that you can do what you want to do later. And that's real, because there's a lot of distractions at colleges, and you want to go to these parties and these social events, but in the meantime you got schoolwork to get done. And sometimes we go to these parties instead of doing the work, and when the time comes and the due date comes, we don't have the work done. Now we got a zero for it, and that kind of brings like grades down. So it's all about discipline and disciplining yourself into, let me get my work done first so I can enjoy the social life afterwards.
Retweet, Miles. And Leah?
Time management, also having a set schedule is very important, being that there are certain deadlines, whether it's homework, whether it's applying for housing, whether it's tuition. Always stay on track, because a deadline could just be today. However, it could be at 5 o'clock and then it was 5:01 and then you missed the deadline. Something I learned is never give up. There's always someone around you who can help you. There's always somebody around, whether it's a phone call or even just somebody who lives next door to you. There's always somebody there to help, and never just think that you're by yourself. Always be able to ask questions and come to people when you need help.
Absolutely. And I'll give my one of the lessons that I learned is that not everyone was raised the same way as you were. And that was definitely something that I took from college. I see a question asking about, transitioning, living in the dorm room with different people you're not familiar with. It can be hard. I was like, I did not have some of the best roommate experiences. But what you can learn from that is like going to school, job, work, high school, there's going to be people that just might not be for you, and that's okay. But as long as there's respect there, that's all there is. Like in college, you're going to deal with people who might not like you. You might deal with professors who might not like you, but that's just life. And so instead of focusing on why do they not like me, just focus on being respectful and making sure that if you have to work with them, getting the thing executed. And that's probably the most important thing. In college, you'll make some really great friends. But you'll also meet people that you just might not get along with, and that's completely okay. Just as long as you're able to move past that and be respectful, and that's important. And so I know we're kind of coming at time. We actually have our second video that I'm super excited to share, and I see a couple of questions, so we might have time, but I'll definitely make sure to see if I can get some of these questions in if we have a little bit of space, but I definitely wanted to share that video first. So thank you so much to the panelists for doing just a wonderful job of answering the questions. You did awesome, and I'm really excited to watch this video and learn more about HBCUs.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. If you are going to be a junior or a senior next year in high school, you should sign up now for #CAP. Our #CAP program stands for the college admissions process. And best of all, it's free. All you need to give us is an occasional Saturday. I know you're interested in college, otherwise you wouldn't be here today. So why don't you actually put into action getting into college by joining our #CAP program? That's right. #CAP stands for the college admissions process. And if you join us every fourth Saturday, it's absolutely free. That's right. We meet every fourth Saturday during the school year with the goal to assist you as you seek admission to college by providing guidance and support in completing the application and enrollment process. So on a monthly basis, we prepare resources and gather the best experts for you to reach that one goal, to get into the college of your choice. Interesting fact. Did you know that 29,000 high school seniors applied to Howard University this year? Yeah, and there were only 2,300 spots. So what if this was your school of choice for the next year? You got to have a plan. You got to collect your resources and utilize them in order to execute on that plan. And we have those resources. Our team answers your questions from how do I pick a school to how do I apply, or what do I need to make a solid essay, or help me find a school that best fits me. These are the type of topics that we tackle here at #CAP. So if you're interested, sign up and we will see you in September. Don't believe me? Why don't you hear from our seniors that are graduating this year?
My name is Darnell Hightower, and I am a senior at Cherokee High School. I have a 3.97 GPA and have earned the honor roll all of my high school career. I have been named Student of the Month and won Unsung Hero Awards and various other scholarships over my 4 years. I was also captain of the varsity football team and have been a 3-year starter and letter winner. The CAP program has helped me learn how to navigate the entire college application process. COVID didn't allow me to do normal college visits, but CAP brought me to them virtually, which was really cool. The guest speakers gave me good information about the financial aid process and what to look for when choosing a school. I have committed to Bloomsburg University, where I will continue my academic and athletic career. I'm a psychology major pursuing my goal to become a sports psychologist.
Hi, my name is Elena Lucrette, and I am a senior at Haddon Heights High School. The CAP program has helped me in numerous ways when it comes to learning about all the things that comes with college, from applications to financial aid, which I'm very grateful for. To save costs, I decided to study business administration at Camden County College for 2 years before transferring to a 4-year college to finish my degree in accounting. I do have my hopes set on New Jersey City University. So thank you to the CAP program for assisting me in getting this far.
Taylor Hinton and I go to Collingswood High School. I was inducted to Honor Society and Spanish Honor Society. For basketball, I was the captain of my team for 3 years, my sophomore year to senior year, which is this year. CAP has helped me to know the right qualities to look for in a school. They helped me figure out what scholarships to apply for, and it's helped me be successful in my college search. Next year in the fall, I will be attending Cairn University to study pre-physical therapy.
So we're going to do everything it takes to make sure that you go to the college of your choice. And best of all, it's free.
Thank you so much. And I guess to the person who asked about the EOF question, I think the CAP program would be something you definitely should apply to if you qualify as a junior or senior, especially when they talked about scholarships and financial aid. And so I just wanted to say another round of applause. Thank you so much to the panelists who gave such great answers to the questions. Super excited to see where you guys all land after you graduate, and it's just been an honor to be your moderator. And before we kind of, end with our panelist discussion, one of the things I wanted to share with you all is that next we kind of have a word cloud. And for those of you who don't know what a word cloud is, basically it's actually like a physical cloud, and what's going to happen is you all are going to populate different words of what comes to mind when you see the question. And basically the most popular word will be in the center of the word cloud, and then the other words that come after it will be all around it in the shape of a cloud. It's very cool. And so we're really super excited to kind of share with you the prompts and what you took out of this program. And we can kind of share the screen right now to the word cloud. And you guys are going to type in one word that comes to mind. HBCUs are blank. HBCUs are powerful, are inspiring, or it could be a statement. HBCUs are the best place to go to school. I'm biased, obviously, but you guys can throw in whatever you like, and we're going to see this word cloud populate. As this word cloud continues to populate, I just want to share that not only did we get to hear from our wonderful panelists about their HBCU experience, but one thing to know if you are considering going to a historically Black college is that you don't have to worry about building a family, because as soon as you get accepted into that school and as soon as you confirm that you're going to go there, you already have a built-in family. One of the things I can say as someone who's a graduate of a HBCU is no matter who I see, whether it's someone from Howard, Hampton, Delaware State, no matter what, Lincoln, if they tell me that they're from an HBCU and we're in a predominantly, like white city, white town, just like if we're just in a place where we don't get to see many people that look like us, we automatically connect. Like, especially for me, after I graduated Spelman College, I went to Seattle, Washington, and definitely incredibly different from Atlanta, Georgia. And so it was very rare to see, people that looked like me. And when I was at Microsoft, when I would see people that went to Morehouse College or they went to, Dillard University, I automatically connected with them because we shared similar experiences. And that's all that really matters. And just know that going to a historically Black college, like, it really does help build a foundation of just self-worth, especially coming from a predominantly white high school. I didn't really know myself. And I think going to a HBCU helped build character for me and helped me realize some of the things that, I wanted to pursue and help me build confidence. And that's something that I think anyone should have the opportunity to experience. And it's just so wonderful getting to see all of these words populate when you guys think of what HBCUs are. And I'm just really excited to, moderate this session and also get to be, a stepping stone in whether it's your HBCU path or it's just your college path. But whatever it is, it's for you. And that's what's really important.
Good morning to everyone, and just thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful presentation. I just want to begin my remarks with thanking and shouting out our moderator and panelists. Of course, I have known, and many of my sorority sisters have known Peyton since before she was born. And so we are really, really just AKA proud of her. And the wonderful job that she did today is just representative of who she is and what she can do. So thank you, Peyton. And our panelists also, I know many of their parents have done an awesome job with these young people, and it shows today in their presentation in this event. And so I just want to say to them that, keep striving, keep reaching your goals, and know that we support you 100%. The Women of Alpha Kappa Alpha, Theta Pi Mega Chapter, and your community, and all those who know you. I'm sure they are more than proud of what you're doing and what you will do in the future. And also know that you will be acknowledged with a token of appreciation on behalf of Theta Pi Mega after this event. We also want to shout out the parents, because without the parents, where would these young people be? And I know they are proud of what their young people are doing, as well as we are. And now I just want to move on to especially thank our guests in the audience, groups that have really come in and made this presentation what it is today. And that would be the Building Our Youth Development Group. Thank you. The Kappa League, thank you. Teen Shop of Southern New Jersey, thank you. Urban Promise Ministries, thank you. The Young Entrepreneurs Group, thank you. And the student parents who reside right here in the Burlington, Camden, and Gloucester counties where we serve. So thank you to these groups for helping to make this presentation great. And we look for more collaborations in the future. Next, I want to run on to our target programs and our chairman and make sure that we all give them a wonderful virtual applause. Our Target 1 HBCU committee, which is headed by our Mrs. Denise Baker. And of course, I am over the moon proud of her since I was her sponsor, and just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work presented here today. And of course, our #CAP chairman, who have really outdone themselves today and always with the presentations of #CAP, that being Ms. Kiana Wilson and Ms. Danielle Lewis. Thank you, ladies, for another job well done. Thank you so much. And I just want to say that I was looking over the participants and I saw Ms. Denise Senior, who is president of Pi Mu Omega Chapter. Thank you, Lenise, for coming in and being with us today. And there may be other members of Alpha Kappa Alpha and the Divine Nine that are here today. Welcome and thank you so much. Before I conclude, I want to encourage all of us to complete the evaluation, because that helps us to make our next presentation better. And so if you would do that, we would be most appreciative. And the last thing I want to just say is that it is our pleasure and it is our goal, it is our objective as Alpha Kappa Alpha women to make sure that we represent our communities with the best of programming and events that will not just help adults, but our young people moving forward into the future. #CAP and HBCU for Life, a call to action, has just that as its goal. And so thank you again, all of you who are here represented today, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event. Have a good afternoon.